Oh, I didn't have Discord open, so I couldn't unmute the gamers. It's time to go. You guys ready?
Always.
It's Wednesday night. It is Wednesday night, and that means that the RGH podcast is live. This is the best gaming podcast in the world. This has actually been proven. We just got the result. Unbiased.
Clinically proven.
Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live and we talk about all things gaming. We all come from Destiny, but we love all things gaming. We talk about the drama. We talk about the leaks. We talk about the consoles. It's going to be a good time. We've got some crispy topics here. Talking about Destiny 2 Beyond boring? Question mark. We're going to be talking about some comp scene drama, Trials of Osiris drama. We're going to be looking at some massive Fortnite news, as well as some really cool games. What do you want to talk about first? Right at the top?
Right at the top,
Yeah.
baby. D2.
Yeah.
D2 is dying electric boogaloo because, yo, if D2 isn't dying, is it even really exist, bro? Like, honestly, I mean, so I think we are kind of talking about how certainly there's a lot of pushback and a lot of chatter within the community that not everything is going well so far for Beyond Light. I think we're going to have some alternating opinions, though, because I'm certainly not hating on Beyond Light. I think True Vanguard has had a pretty positive experience overall. Mtashed is, bro, out. This man's on the Genshin train. He's like, I can't stand this anymore. So it's kind of an interesting one. I think the catalyst for this is simply that this week, nothing happened. Like, you logged on and there was nothing new, really. It's just, it was a completely dry reset. And that obviously chimed up a lot of people to say, well, Destiny's dead already. Like, we're kind of done with Beyond Light already.
Right. No new content, question mark? Where's the new stuff? I think that when the, what are they, nightmare hunts? No, the, whatever the hunts are called, that's how little I played it. When that first came out,
the Empire hunts.
I think
Season of the Hunt hunts?
Yeah, Season of the Hunt hunts.
Like crow hunts.
Yeah, the basic hunts. I feel like people were already kind of like, all right, this is really underwhelming. After the raid, thankfully, after the raid, we got some new content. But as you said, we were talking about this before. The raid happened, and then they're like, oh, by the way, here's the lament and the store. Like, here's the sniper, and here. They just dropped everything. And
I was saying before the podcast, literally, as soon as people beat the raid, Bungie released the lament, the ability to get the Cloud Strike. The second half of Beyond Light, the ability to get the Cloud Strike, exo challenges, the part 4s or whatever to the Call to Darkness, so you could get your next attunements, like everything. And so most people were like in the raid, like myself as a content creator perspective, that was the most annoying thing ever, because I'm like in the raid and I'm like dying to get out the I ended up getting out the raid guide that night to help people get their day ones. But that's a good point. Do you think Bungie released too much stuff that day, and then we have a week with nothing, where this could easily be the week where the lament comes out?
Nah, I personally like that they dumped a ton of content then, because for me, I have to keep in mind that a lot of people don't raid, especially if they're not involved in the certainly not involved in the day one raids, that first weekend raiding, because they're just not ready. Most gamers aren't ready for that kind of an activity. So to have all this other stuff come out, like, hey, they kind of got to be involved in the hype of the weekend, and I think also it drummed up a lot of chatter. Like, just looking at Twitter, people are like, oh my gosh, Bungie just dropped the second half of Beyond Light. I got this to do, and there's this, and oh, you guys need to go check this out and go check this out. And then suddenly there's pictures of freaking Clovis AI all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, it drummed up a lot of hype. I feel like if you just do this slow cadence of here's another little thing, here's another little thing, you never get that big reaction if it's just another little thing. So I kind of like that they did that. And personally, I got to say, I think that the pace of Beyond Light is actually pretty good. I have to remind myself that the people that I tend to surround myself with are also really hardcore gamers. But when I wasn't a hardcore gamer, this would have been a ton of content for the price point for me. And my pace has been a little different. I know a lot of people that they see this checklist of a bunch of, got to do the lament, got to do the Cloud Strike, I got to do this, that, this. And I don't do that. I don't go down the checklist. What I do is I get one thing and I'm like, all right, I farmed for a while. I got my Cloud Strike. I'm going to go into the raid. I'm going to see how it does against the boss. I'm taking in some strikes. I'm taking it to PvP. 3 days later, all right, it's probably about time I knock out that lament quest. You know what I mean? So I still have a ton of stuff I got to do. I haven't done all the stasis unlocks yet. I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You're just casual gamer. That's just, clearly.
I'm a real gamer, you know. This is a
Cash
real gamer.
plays half an hour a week and got all that stuff done.
Wow, I mean, for the first
True.
week, yeah, for the
True,
first
someone
week and a
played
bit.
that.
Come on, man, they only helped a little bit, but yeah, no, legit, I haven't been playing that much. But I mean, there are some really cool systems in place here, and like I do see that there is some exciting exotics, like the sword, pretty damn cool. The new rocket launcher, super cool. The raid exotic is the first time I've cared about legendaries. The first time I've cared about raid loot in a long time. Even the mods, they're cracked. They're so good. And I've been going for my flawless raids. Like on Tuesday, I did back-to-back raids on Tuesday. I've done it every reset so far. And so there are some really good things here that I think a lot of the community can enjoy. But I don't know. The cadence of this DLC was weird. Everyone played it for the first week and they're like, all we're doing is like strikes and some campaign missions, and it feels kind of like there's nothing here. And then they drop, these hunts, and they're like, these are kind of sucky too. And then the raid, pretty big banger, and then they dropped everything. And so now it's kind of everyone's playing catch up and interacting with that content. And I think I've seen more positive now, right? Like when it first came out, I would say Beyond Light had very poor reception. And now I think it's at least evened out. I don't know if it's amazing reception. I know that there's some people that might be annoyed. I mean, I'm not having the blast of my life. I know Skill Up, he was trying to jump back in and he's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because people are tired of Destiny or if the content is bad. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, is it just more the same?
I think that it didn't necessarily apply the content as well. Like for the Empire hunts, you have the 3 new Empire hunts, which are fine. Like taking those story missions and making them into content that you want to replay, but like you really only replay those Empire hunts in the playlist if you don't have the Cloud Strike. So once you get it, there's really no reason to do it. Or there's like the 1280 Empire hunt for the Pinnacle. Aside from that, are you really replaying Empire hunts? Well,
yes.
Well, hold on. You are to get the weapons, not the actual. I think the actual playlist ones is a missed opportunity. I think the playlist ones, you should be able to pick up the weapon quest from Varix, and then instead of doing, how you have to go to a public area and like kill a bunch of guys and it's like so brain dead, and then you have to go and do like a stupid public event thing, and that's fine for the first few times, but by the 10th time you're really sick of it. I think that you should be able to pick up the quest and then do the playlist activity, which is significantly higher light and has modifiers and like potentially champions and stuff. Even if you have, let's say you have to do not the easiest one, like the ones with champions, and then you can get that weapon. Then I would actually be in there farming. But right now, like I play for the Pinnacle and then I don't touch it.
See, I'm a little different from you because personally, I love the Europa armor set and I think it looks fantastic. But the thing that pisses me off is that every time I get one of those to drop, it's 52 stat roll, 54. It's garbage. So the second I read the description of the legendary Empire hunts, and I saw that at 1250 and at 1280, I can actually get high stat rolls on that armor. I was like, I'm gonna do that. That's on my list of things to do now. I'm gonna go in there. Because I even had tweeted out a couple weeks ago, hey, I really like these taking down the I don't know, the lieutenants or whatever, her Aramis's inner circle. I thought there's really cool boss fights. I wish I could interact with them on a deeper level, even as a solo challenge. And now I can get 2 birds with 1 stone. I can go back and re-experience those as a solo player challenge if I want to at 1250 and at 1280, just like the Lost Sectors, and actually have a chance to get in some high stat roll armor in the process. I'm in.
But I think that I don't disagree with you, but I think that if they would have just added on the ability to go, like you still have to spend that resources at Varix to buy those quests. And then
I agree.
Skip the boring parts and just go right into the playlist activities. And so you get the armor and that weapon if you've bought it. I think that's the way to go. I think that would have been a lot better.
I don't disagree with you there. I'm just saying that
there's a reason
that there is actually a reason to go in there.
I know.
Even if it's just for masterwork materials too.
Right.
No, there is.
And you know what? And listening to that, and it's saying like, oh, I got a 52 roll. I think that's one of the frustrating things is like, you know, it's not a Genshin. I don't want to talk about Genshin 24/7, but with Genshin, it's made me realize that I really enjoy games where I've got like a set path, or not even a set path, but like I've got a goal where I'm like, I want to level that character to level 80. And then I want to get their weapon up, and I want to get them some artifacts. And I've got these ways to get those upgrades. And I feel with Destiny, the power level grind, you know, it's kind of an RNG slot machine, what's going to drop and what isn't. But it's a very, you know, overall basic system that doesn't matter, and it doesn't make me feel powerful. And then with the armor sets, I'm not chasing a particular legendary armor piece. I just want any piece. And I just need it to have high stats. And I don't care where I'm getting it from. It could be a prime engram, it could be from a drop. I don't really care, as long as it's got some high stats. And I just don't feel like it's very interesting anymore to me. It's not focused, it's not interesting. I can't like focus fire farm other than the exotics. I think that's a great thing that you can do. Hey, if I want to bang out 50 exotic helmets, I can do that. I like that. I really enjoy that. Focused loots, I think, would be a good one.
Listen, say, so what if the Empire hunts, you know, there's 3 different ones. What if one was like helmet and arms, the other one was like chest piece legs, and the other one was like, you know, class item, and then one of any or something. So you could be like, well, I want a good helmet. Like my helmet right now is getting depreciated at the beginning of the season. I need a helmet. You could farm Empire hunts for a guaranteed helmet.
Well, and we've seen some of that with like, even with the Season of Opulence, right? We've seen that in there, and
we actually even do see it with the hunts for the
exactly. You can even put some like if you want it to be intellect and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, how often is it going to be a cracked like 66 roll or 65 roll? It just it's not like you can focus fire for a direct upgrade. And even if you do, even if you get an upgrade at this point in Destiny, is it because you got one more intellect on it, or like 2 more recovery? And like, does that give you another tier? I just, at this point, I feel like I've beaten the game, and I love the new experiences. I just don't care about any of the loot. And I you know,
one of the things I've said for a long time, I think they could do to make, because they do have this problem now where armor is just armor. You can make it look the way you want to make it look, but you're not like, I have to go get a raid piece of armor. To speak to what you're saying, one of the things that I've said for a long time they should do is implement set bonuses of some kind. So if you got the full Europa set, maybe you get your just spitballing here. Right. Maybe what they say is, okay, well, anytime you get hit with a stasis slowing ability, whether it's against some of the champions that use stasis in PvE or if it's in PvP, maybe your slow speed is reduced by 50%. So if I get caught in a dusk field, I can move 50% faster when I'm slowed, as opposed to if I didn't have that set bonus on. You know, even if it's something as simple as get the full Crucible set, get an additional plus 10 mobility to your overall stat rolls, or to your overall, you know, stats.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Set rolls like that would actually matter. I know you could get out of hand with that, but it is something that would make people actually care about armor and specific armor pieces.
I think the problem with that, though, is they would need to like double the vault, because like you'd have to have a Crucible set for each character, a Gambit set for each character.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so I think it's a good idea, but like my vault is already pretty full, and so yeah, I think that would be the issue. Unless you could, if you could like save rolls to the collection. Bungie talked about this forever ago. They said we're looking into how to like save rolls and withdraw those from the collection. If you could do that, like that would clear up so much space. Absolutely. And that would allow for those armor things. Like, hey, you could like dismantle a roll, or you could like press a button to dismantle it to collections. So you could withdraw that same armor piece later if you wanted, or withdraw that same weapon piece. Like, hey, you know, I got a certain SMG. This SMG sucks right now, but if they buff it, this roll is going to be cracked. That makes up so much of my vault. I'm like, loot that, like, if it gets buffed, I'm ahead of the curve. I'm in there with those god rolls, right?
Well, yeah, and like, how many seasons I've had like an item sitting in my vault, and it's like, it's been bad, and I'm like, all right, I need some space. I delete it, and then the next season, like, oh, by the way, this is the new meta. High impact pulses are cracked. And it's like
high impact pulse is a perfect example.
And now I can't get that item back. And in some cases it's like you literally can't get it back unless there's a quest line for some of them. Like I think the Adorned right now, if you delete the Adorned, you can't get it back because it's got random barrels. Really? And the Redrix was the same way because it had a random barrel. You could only get it last season from a quest. Like you had to redo the quest on another character if you wanted a new Redrix that you didn't have in your vault. And so it's just like little things like that. I don't know what I can delete and what I can't delete, and there's not enough space to hoard. So it's kind of tough.
Also, I think a huge negative for this season is that even though like I'm enjoying it overall, I've been plagued by error codes. Like I got in the day one raid, I got error code like 10 times. Anteater. I actually upgraded my internet since then. I got fiber. Like I got better internet.
Oh, did you really?
I
You
logged
still
on,
having issues?
got freaking anteater like an hour after I. It's like, what can I do? It clearly it's the game because I've talked to so many people that have had the same thing where they're not getting these error codes. Beyond Light comes up, then they are. So that's been pretty frustrating in a lot of things. Is especially in like a raid scenario or in like a higher level content in a master nightfall, whatever you're doing. It's like suddenly you get anteater, you load back in, you have no ammo. You're like, great.
Yeah, I hear you.
Can I ask you a question now? So Archie just said Destiny fell off at Taken King. Now, I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, Shadowkeep sucked. Oh, this one sucked. Oh, this DLC sucked. This season sucked. Do you think that Destiny might be having some sort of player base issue where they are losing far faster than they're gaining? If you look at Steam charts and you look at how many people are playing on Steam charts, Shadowkeep actually had more players at peak concurrent player base. And it is actually, if you look at the graphs, Destiny Beyond Light is actually like dropping in player base at a much faster rate than Shadowkeep. Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it is due to the PvP, which we'll talk about as our next topic. But genuinely, I think that a big reason also is just because there's so many other things to play. Like a lot of people, you know, they play Destiny, they come in and out. Like the game, it's always there for them, and they snagged a new console. They're playing Spider-Man or they're playing the new Call of Duty, like the new Assassin's Creed. There's a bunch of new games.
There's a lot of competition for right now. Yeah,
like Bungie put itself as a freaking launch title, right? Normally it just kind of launches on its own.
True.
So like no crap. Shadowkeep did well because Shadowkeep was months before Call of Duty comes out, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare guaranteed took a huge chunk out of the player base. Like people can only play one game for the most part because like they're so consuming now.
Well, on top of that, I know that a lot of players on next gen who got next gen consoles are busy playing things that were made for next gen. And guess what? Beyond Light, it hasn't been updated for next gen yet. That happens next week. So a lot of people are like, I'm going to wait to interact with the Destiny content because right now I've got next gen titles. I'm working through Miles Morales. I'm working through Valhalla. I'm working through this and that.
Yeah, I guess that is true because if they did release when they were supposed to, they had almost no competition. Like
I think it would have blown. Yeah,
right?
They would have seen much better numbers.
Maybe Genshin wouldn't be as popular. I know a lot of people were playing Genshin. Like you guys all tried Genshin, and maybe that game,
Destiny,
right, exactly. So maybe that game doesn't do as well, and Destiny does way better, and there's no competition there. And you know, it is definitely interesting. I guess the nice thing with Destiny is, you know, people don't grind Valhalla 9 months from now. But when there's a new season of Destiny and it's updated on the consoles and they've got some cracked new exotics, people are going to come back and people are going to try it for free long term. And as you said, especially with the Game Pass and all those different things, maybe people just haven't given it that free to play try yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like once they're done with Valhalla and they're bored and they have an Xbox, you have no reason not to try Destiny. But I think that kind of brings up a good point that you mentioned. It's like Bungie may have been counting on a lot of new Xbox players coming in, but then, as it turns out, no one could get their hands on Xbox One X except for the scalpers, right? So, I think that not that many people are actually gaming on the new consoles. I think a lot of PS4s are just in limbo on eBay, or sorry, PS5s and Xbox One X's.
Yeah,
I hear you.
So
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think that like if you're an Xbox player, you probably like, why would you? I don't know. I think a lot of people are waiting for the next gen versions.
Right. Now, we were kind of talking, you know, about player base dropping and PvP. And so, do you want to get into the drama, a little bit of drama? So
True Vanguard can explain this.
A couple things.
The Destiny comp scene is still very active in Destiny 2. Well, they published their rule sets moving forward for this coming season, and that rule set got posted on Twitter. Now, this rule set applies to their scrimmages, their clan matches. Often it's used for Face It stuff. And also on top of that, any tournaments that they do will tend to fall back on this rule set. It's sort of going to be the standard now. individual tournaments do have the liberty to modify that as they please, as long as they disclose it. But it is sort of the standard moving forward for the season. That rule set got posted on Twitter by a number of different people today in the Destiny community, and just memeing hard on the comp community and saying, why don't you guys, and then I
now describe what this rule set limits.
Now this rule set, pardon me, this rule set limits a lot of stasis stuff. Stasis got hit pretty hard in this rule set. Ice wall grenades are the only grenades that are allowed. And then like the tracking bolts from the Warlock, those aren't allowed. The freezing and slowing on class ability uses, that's not allowed. And a lot of people had contention with that because right now, I don't know if you see this, right now a lot of people are publishing and putting out there these new builds using stasis, because stasis has lots of synergy built into it, just the way that it's structured. You can pick and choose what you're going to run. So there's a lot of stasis builds out there, but guess what? The sweat community says, nah, you're not going to be able to use that stuff. And also on that list is a lot of stuff we've seen before. They don't like Bastion. They don't like, Ariana's Vow. Just some of these outliers that can be seen as cheesy or people just don't like in general. So anyways, that led to just a whole bunch of back and forth today. Today was basically a casual community versus sweat community on Twitter, just going at each other like, you're a bunch of dads who can't even shoot dregs. And they're like, you just want to ban everything. You want this to be freaking, MLG COD. It's never going to be like that. And it's just this back and forth. And it's just so biting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And it's for every comment that was like, oh, well, stasis isn't that bad. Then someone would post a clip like that potato. And it's like he's freezing a guy over and over and over and over.
They froze that guy 8 times in that clip or something like that.
And so it's like, well, is it balanced? Are we crazy here?
I'm gonna fall off the log here, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this straight up. The sweat community can make their rule sets for their activities. Big freaking deal. It doesn't affect anybody but them, as long as they keep any toxicity or elitism within their own community, and they don't spill it out onto the rest of the community, and they keep that contained, that's fine. And guess what? They're right about stasis and PvP.
I'm actually going to say a little bit of the same thing. Like, it was kind of funny. A lot of people were like, this is so dumb, bro. Like, what are you doing over there? You can't even use the game. The comp community doesn't even want to play the real game, which is like, if you look at what they banned, you're like, fair point. The comp community, what they want to play and what the game is right now are very different. But yeah, like, it was interesting. People were like, oh, this is so ridiculous. And then you'd see comp people reply and be like, are you playing comp? Like, bro, you got a 1.2 KAD. Like, you're not sweating in scrims. Like, what are you talking about, right? Yeah. Like people were getting mad at the comp community, but it's people who have absolutely no interest in playing comp.
And not just playing comp for them.
Yeah, right. It's like, if they want to do this and their community has all agreed to this, and that's by what the rule set was like, they tended to, it looks like they all kind of were like, yeah, this is all good. Like, let them go and do their own thing. It doesn't negatively impact you. Like, yeah, that's exactly right. They're hosting their own tournaments, doing their own thing. So but of course the comp community, if they would have just said that, they would have had the higher ground. But of course, instead, they're like, yo, 1v1 me. Like, yo, get your 3 best guys, my 3 best guys. We'll see what happens. Like, that's not the way to do it.
No one came out of that conversation innocent.
But at the end of the day, I do actually agree with what they did here. It's like, if you're going to have a very competitive environment, you have to eliminate a lot of the cheesy stuff. And unfortunately, so much stuff in Destiny 2 is absolutely cheeserific. It's crazy.
It's literally ruined the game for me. Like, it's to the point where PvP is so unenjoyable for me. And I know, I apologize that I keep harping saying, like, I don't like Destiny 2. But I played this game for 7 years. I'm very existential crisis here. Like, what the heck? I'm supposed to like it. And I despise it. It is so awful to play against. I try to jump into PvP and like, I jumped in on trials for the first 2 games before it got canceled. We'll talk about that. And like, I was having some fun with my buddies, but it's because we're laughing. But I got frozen a couple of times and I'm like, oh my God. And then I tried to play a little bit of Rumble and I'm like, oh my God. And by 10, 20, 30 minutes in, I was already raging. I was like, I can't do it. I'm done. And so
I quit midstream the other day.
Yeah.
And switched to Apex in the middle of a match. I left the match mid-match as I'm playing Apex.
If you care about the movement of Destiny, which has traditionally been one of the selling points, you probably don't like stasis. If you like outplaying people with guns, you probably don't like stasis. And here's the thing, and it's not even necessarily to defend the sweat community or anything like that, but the thing that people need to realize is the more OP something is, it lowers the skill gap and everyone can get kills with it, right? If I can freeze you and I can poorly place a grenade, as Ryan said multiple times, the dust field grenade, if you're placing it...
sucks you in.
Right? It sucks you in. If you're on the toe, it will suck you in. And it's almost worse. If you throw it, Ryan, you said, the worse you throw it, the more effective it is. Because it's going to suck you further, right?
You're gonna take more ticks and take more time to get out of it if you're on the fringes when they throw it than if they throw it accurately.
No, exactly. And so... that is frustrating and that's annoying. The skill gap is lowered. But the thing is then good players can abuse it even harder. So if you're frustrated by a bad player using it, if you put it in the hands of a good player, they can break the game. And that's the thing that it's just like, well, you need to just adapt. You need to just figure it out. Okay, here, let me show you some clips with Mountaintop and Recluse and how bad you can abuse it. Let me show you how you can freeze someone 8 times in a row with a certain build, you know? And I think that's what some people don't realize is the better the player is, the more OP that OP thing gets. So I don't blame them for wanting to shut that down.
Not at all. In fact, one of the things that bothers me the most is I understand entirely looking at their rule sets that the SWAT community puts out there and saying that's ridiculous. You're certainly allowed to think that or feel that. But what bothers me is when I see people say things like, man, it bothers me that I can't get involved in any sweats or tournaments because they ban all the things that I like to use. And what I would tell you is, A, if that's your position, you're probably already not involved in that community. And B, you're making the assumption that they monopolize all the tournaments. They don't. There's actually a number of different tournaments out there that people put on with very limited rule sets. On top of that, I can tell you from experience that I one time said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to host my own dang tournament. I'll even shoutcast the whole dang thing. I'll pay for all the assets. I'll do everything from the ground up. I had a team that helped me run the Play My Way tournament, and we had a rule set that was actually very limited. And the only things that it banned were almost exclusively things that were in the S tier category in the game, and just let people experiment with fun, silly stuff. And you guess what? So many people. We had more teams and players show up for that tournament than any tournament in the history of Destiny at that point. And we had huge sponsors, huge viewership. People came. The sweat scene doesn't have a monopoly on those activities. So if you look at that and you say, I don't like that, well, then you can either continue to complain about it or you could do something about it. Get involved in some of the other tournaments out there, the other communities that are out there. You have options. It's not like they own Destiny in the competitive scene.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm excited to announce the RGH Stasis Only Tournament where everyone is going to...
AKA just a normal tournament. The thing... Yeah, it is hard because casual. A lot of the more casual players love Stasis, right? Because it's free kills. I hate to say it, but it like if you freeze someone, you're going to get that kill. So if you're, in PvP, if you're someone who's more used to, using your abilities than maybe your gun skill, that's what you're going to vibe with. You're going to vibe with the stuff that will make up for a lack in gun skill, right? And that's not necessarily to insult. It's just like how different people are going to vibe with the game. You tend to find different people have different strategies on, if you, Call of Duty is a great example, right? If you put the sniper rifles in the hands of bad players, they don't do well with it. If you put those same sniper rifles in the hands of Nadeshot, you're done, bro. It's a sniper. It's an assault rifle. It's a shotgun, basically. He's going to hit you from no matter where the map is, right? So that you have that gun skill making up for something else. So it's a really interesting and hard debate because the weird thing is, like, as overpowered as it is, it's also very fun and new. And people are maybe enjoying the Crucible when before they didn't. And they're trying out new builds and doing new things.
Well, exactly. And I wanted to build on that because you were kind of touching on that. Is like, Stasis is new and there is a lot of synergy. And if I'm going to freeze that guy and it's going to chain to the next one, in many players' eyes, who gives a shit if I think it's cheesy? For them, they're going, oh, so I froze this guy and then it chained and then I got him and it blew up and I killed another. For them, that is exciting. That is what they want to enjoy. And so, as much as I dislike it, I can't say that they're not having a blast and they're really interested in making these cool PvP builds. It's just such a tough thing because now it's added this layer where many people do view it as cheesy. Probably as many, if not more, than the people that think it's like the funnest thing they've ever used.
Right.
You know, killing someone with a mountaintop and laughing about it. I probably have a lot of clips of me laughing and joking around with the mountaintop. But the second someone shoots me, I'm like, this is broken. I hate it. So it's just one of those things.
The thing is, for anyone who's sounding off, you know, in the comments being like, bro, you just don't like it because it's new. Take off that stasis subclass. Use a light subclass. Seriously, go in PvP, use a light. You won't. You won't. Because, like, the actual matter of the fact is the biggest problem here that is kind of undefensible is the fact that, yes, stasis is fun and new, and, like, I don't think they should, like, take out stasis or anything like that. I'm not that far to the whole, like, PvP is completely ruined thing. I'm not as far as you, Mtashed, but the big problem is that this makes the other subclasses, they're seeing next to no play. Like, why would you play some of the other subclasses? If I'm not playing a stasis subclass, I feel at a severe disadvantage.
You're at a disadvantage.
And even though, like, right now the gun stuff, like the gun balance is actually one of the best.
It's really good. It is really good.
So, like, yes, you have like Top Tree Dawn, some people still use, but even then, like, the percentage of players playing just non-stasis subclasses are so limited, and that is the problem. Is like, it is definitely pushing some of the diversity, because you don't, like, be honest with yourself, you don't really see as much diversity. You see like half stasis, half everything else. When there's going to be a bigger portion of stasis because it's new, but still, like, I don't feel like it's going to go down. I don't feel like people are going to be like, oh, back to bottom tree striker Titan. Like, no, you can slide for half an hour as the behemoth Titan. Why would I take that off? It's cracked out of its mind, dude.
Yeah. Anything that class can do, the new Sentinel can do, or the new Stasis one can do more. Now,
exactly. Like, oh, slam the ground? How about I slam in front of you and then freeze you and then launch myself across the entire map? Like, have fun with your stupid electricity. Like, you're done, bro.
Now,
and you counter every other super. You freeze every other super to super. Stasis super wins 100% of the time.
And if you're out of your super, your stasis still beats them because you can freeze them.
The only way you can, if I have like a warlock and I'm in a super and I'm versing any other super aside from maybe Golden Gun, the only way I lose that gunfight is if I have my eyes closed or something. Like, you're going to win. Like, if I'm a slam Titan, what do I do against the warlock? I'm like, I just run away. Like, I have no chance to win.
You sprint away using your speed.
Yeah.
Okay, one person made the point. Suppression grenades. All right, double suppression.
Yeah, how are you gonna hit a warlock up there?
Exactly. The warlock is 40 miles in the air.
And what hunter is casting silence and squall on ground level where you're not gonna do that?
Now, it's funny, the timing of this, you know, they're making these comp rule sets and they're like getting a little heated on Twitter because Trials was once again canceled. And, you know, even Panda's and, you know, one of the big sweat guys, and he's big in Trials. He changed his banner to the Bungie help, like, you know, Trials is canceled. And, you know, that stuff, you know, people see that stuff. And I saw that. And I think that there are some people that are not just annoyed, they're angry because that's what they do on the weekends. They get with their boys, or maybe that's their business. You know, there's a lot of carries. There's a lot of people that are really good in the community that Trials is their livelihood. And so every weekend, right?
Just quickly, we talked about how people are kind of feeling like there's not that much to do. It certainly doesn't help when there was going to be this whole adept weapon system to chase after 2 weekends in a row, potentially 3 if they were going to originally run it the raid weekend. But, like, that's gone now.
Right. And so at this point, you could have had, you know, 2, maybe even 3 adept weapons, or, you know, try to get a couple rolls. Like, let's say it was the shotgun for one of the weeks, and you would get 3 adept shotguns. That could be an amazing thing to be using in PvP and really being excited about. And the mods, right? Because that's multiple attempts at the mods.
If we had Trials last weekend, like the 27th-ish, right? Like, that would have been perfect, right? Like, because it would have been nothing really happened that reset. But then we have Trials as the new thing. And then this reset, nothing really happened. But, like, we had Trials that weekend as the first ever Trials, adept weapons, adept mods, something to do. But that got taken away, and then now that's why I think that's a huge reason to why people are saying, like, oh, I'm already bored. It's like you took that huge portion of the game away. That
Right.
is the raid for PvP.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely a disappointment. I was really excited as a PvP player. Even with my frustrations with stasis, I was still looking forward to playing trials. I want to chase that stuff. I want to chase that loot. It is certainly a valuable activity for people who really like to peacock in the game. You know, they want to look different. They want to show off what they've done. You know, rep my flawless emblem, and on that emblem, I'm going to show how many flawless tickets I have this season. You know, especially, it's just a good thing for people who are PvP enthusiasts to have that activity, to go chase some stuff, to find some things to flex about, and especially with the adept weapons, they want to flex that as well. I was bummed. I was definitely bummed.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you guys were gonna play, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
we
and
were gonna play
Cactus
together.
and my
Dude,
buddy Pureblade.
This next weekend is like the last time, because I was saying to Vanguard, if they delay trials again, if they find another stasis bug again this upcoming weekend, I'm screwed, because I haven't got a PS5 yet. So that this is the last weekend before they upgrade it, and then it's like PS4 versus PS5. And if you have a PS4, you're screwed. Like, you have no chance. Just the field of view is going to give you such a significant disadvantage. So I'm going to have to like go and visit a scalper's house with a balaclava and try to negotiate a better price. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta get a PS5 now.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Well, we should probably move on to the next topic. I just sum up that whole conversation, doubling back to the comp thing. I think it really does look to me. It's like that meme of the lady that's screaming, pointing the finger, and her friend's holding her back, and then the other picture's just the cat sitting at the table, like, what?
Yeah.
That's the cat's the comp people, and the lady is the people outside of their community, not watching their streams, not involved in their tournaments, about their rule set.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that's summarized for me.
I think, though, one more thing about the trials thing that I think is important to mention is, like, I brought up to you guys, I think that it's more problematic than people I think realize, because there's only going to be one featured adept weapon per week. So this week it's the sniper, next week it's the fusion rifle, it's the shotgun the week after. So you've got rid of 2 maybe 3 weekends.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that means like potentially there's going to be certain weapons that are available for 3 weekends before the next season, and other weapons that are available for 2 weekends. And if you're like away one weekend, if you're away the weekend the shotgun's on offer, like that's potentially screwing a lot of people over. So will Bungie have to actually do like a double loot trials event to make up for the fact that they like screwed you over out of 2 times of farming stuff?
Yeah. And another thing worth mentioning is that when you have those key activities that are taken away, you know, especially back-to-back weekends, one thing that's important to remember is it only takes one play session for a gamer to get hooked on a different game. It does. And so when you have fewer activities for them to engage with, they're going to go somewhere else. And in that void, for example, this week, I sat down and I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And after an 8-hour game session, I was like, I'm in. I'm hooked. I'm in. And so I've sacrificed some of my Destiny gaming to go play. It only takes one play session for a gamer to get hooked on a new experience. So when you are not offering things for them to engage with in your game, you're potentially losing gamers.
Well, so why the heck can't they just disable stasis subclasses for once in their lives instead of disabling
the activity?
Yeah, they already disable stasis subclasses for anyone who doesn't own the DLC. So just flick that button for trials.
Right. And you know, actually, now that you're bringing up kind of other games too, with Fortnite, they just had a massive live event, right? Huge. There's a new season coming out. There were some people on YouTube with 500,000 concurrent viewers.
It's nuts.
And then on Twitch, they had like 1.3 million. It might have even gone higher than at some points, right? All the big streamers are playing that. Lupo was playing Destiny, but he's going back and playing some Fortnite. And you know, Crafty was back playing a little bit of Fortnite. And look at, you know, it makes you wonder, when there's these big games and this other big competition, if they have these big cracked events, a lot of content creators are going to go where the viewers are. And they're going to take their audience with them. And, you know, there's going to be people that try those other games when Destiny is slow, when there's just some Empire hunts that they don't care about the loot, and they're going to try something else, and then they won't come back. And I mean, maybe not forever. Everyone can leave the game and return at different times with different seasons, but there is a lot of competition. And, Fortnite, I feel like, has been dormant for a long time. Like this whole last couple seasons, it has been big, but nowhere near what it was. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing all these people playing it and talking about it again. My son, one of them, my son has not really played Fortnite. He didn't play all last season. He's like, I don't like that game anymore. Well, guess who's asking, for some V-Bucks? Yeah. Who wants some V-Bucks for the new stuff? He sees Kratos, right? And he's like, whoa.
He gets to buy Mando. He gets to buy the Mandalorian guy. Apparently, that's one of the leaked or something. Like you get the Mandalorian skin for like the next season. So they cash in on the trends because what is bigger right now than Mandalorian? Like nothing really. That's like the biggest thing.
Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like but here's something crazy, and it goes into the discussion we had last week. So I was watching the Fortnite event on YouTube because I was like, I just wanted to see what it was about. So I watched Nick Merck's video. Right. And it not his fault, but it got so cringy, so awkward because guess what they had to do? I'm watching this thing. It's at this huge climactic moment. They're driving battle buses into this massive Galactus guy's mouth to blow him up. Iron Man's there. Is crazy. And then like Tim the Tap Man and all these other huge streamers are with him. And he's like, and you start to hear this guitar riff. And he's like, oh, I think this is a part. This is a part. Mutes the stream. So just him. So it's completely silent. And it's Nick Merckx going, oh, whoa, this is so cool. Oh, and you're like, it was so awkward. Yeah. And it's like, again, this is no hate to Nick Merckx. This is what you have to do these days because Twitch and he was saying, he's like, I'm sorry, I have to do it for Twitch. I have to do it for Twitch because Twitch will DMCA claim him and like ban him. So like Twitch has just completely ruined that event. That was going to be such a cool event.
Well, and that makes you wonder, is there a reason why there's 4
I got a midstream beer delivery, boys.
Delicious.
Oh, cheers.
It makes you wonder, though, is that one of the reasons why YouTube has 4.9 million viewers? Compared to 1.3, 5 times the amount of viewers. I think it was actually more than that at one point, right? Because they can play the song. And maybe they get a copyright claim of some sort and they lose monetization or something. Like it could happen. Absolutely.
At least appeal it. They have an appeal process.
Right.
Twitch doesn't.
They're not going to just get banned. They're not going to just get their video deleted. But with Twitch, it's like, well, I'm not risking that. And so, it starts becoming one of these things is like, if I'm a big creator, can I even cover games properly at this point? If there's no streamer mode, can I do those big events? Maybe it's not as important to do those events. Ninja, he's got a huge brand, 20 million subscribers on YouTube. If there's a big Fortnite event going on, I think I'd be doing it on YouTube. I don't know why you would even 100%. Think about doing it on Twitch. You can't even get the full experience if you have to mute things, right? There's the marshmallow thing. Like, you can't even do the marshmallow event. That was one of the biggest events in gaming history. It was unprecedented at the time.
And the Travis Scott event.
Right, exactly. And so what? You can't do the event?
Worst thing that happens on YouTube is that they will demonetize the video. So the money will go to the artist. Mm-hmm. Now, if that happens, obviously that sucks, right? For you, the creator. But you're not getting banned from the platform. Right. You just got demonetized for one video. It's all good in the hood. You'll make more videos.
And if you are one of those people that gets 7 or 10 million views in the video, it would have been great to get that revenue. But 7 to 10 million kids just saw your video, and they're probably subbing. So even if that's the case, you've got a better video. People are watching that video. They're getting the full experience. You're getting that hype. You're getting that growth. Where Twitch is just like a joke at this point for that.
Why wouldn't you stream on YouTube right now? Like, honestly, it's Twitch just imploded. Like just watching it was crazy that they're all saying, and you could hear Tim the Tap Man and all the other streamers he's playing with in the background, huge streamers being like, oh, we have to, because of Twitch, we got to mute it. And it's like,
I don't even know what the song was. Was it like the Avengers theme maybe? Probably just the main.
They're just like, we're warned, but ahead of time, they must have been told, like, hey, there's going to be a song, and
heads up.
You better have it muted because Twitch is going to be weird about it.
It's Welcome to the Jungle, and they're like,
like something like that. Crazy. Twitch has someone mentioned Jeff Bezos. Twitch has the resources to literally change the law. If Twitch wanted to, if Amazon wanted to, they could go in and completely overhaul the DMCA thing so it worked for their creators, but they just don't care. They do not want to do that.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about, while we have some time here, some other fun games. Ryan, you said you've been playing Valhalla. Yeah. You like Valhalla? You love Valhalla? Is it you're going to marry Valhalla? What are your thoughts?
I am committed to a full playthrough of Valhalla at this point. I have so many games that I pick up and I dabble with and then put down, and I don't pick them back up for, either ever or for a long time. Valhalla's not one of them. As a next-gen title, I've really been enjoying it. I will come out the gate and just say that I've not been a huge Assassin's Creed fan of the franchise. I loved the first one. I finished the second one, and then after that, I was done.
Me too. Exactly the same.
So a lot of people were crazy about Odyssey. Odyssey was apparently a knockout. And
Odyssey. I got back. I'm exactly the same as you guys, but I got back in with Odyssey.
And you said that was a good one too.
It's correct me if I'm wrong, TV. You probably found you're like, oh, this is an RPG now.
That's right. That's right.
Loot. I'm like, this is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so Valhalla basically continues the trends that they laid down with Odyssey. A completely different environment. So you're looking at around like 800 AD, time period. You start out in the Norway region, which is I mean, you feel like you're in Skyrim, brought to next gen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mountainous, it's beautiful, and I really like the whole gameplay systems. The one thing I will say is I'm not sure what I'm gonna do once I collect everything, but it's probably gonna take a long time to collect everything in that game. So maybe you'd start a new playthrough at that point. I don't know. But I'm really, really enjoying it. It looks great. Sounds great. Everything about it is really fun for me to engage with. And they did a really good job with the loot system, by the way, because a lot of RPGs, it's just like, a lot of times you're like, I'm picking up a whole bunch of trash. Can't wait to throw away this trash and sell this trash. And Valhalla's not like that. Like, everything you pick up has a purpose, and you may not like it, but it's at least unique, and there's nothing else like it. And if you're like, hey, I like this white axe, I kind of like what it does, and it looks kind of cool, you can upgrade that all the way to the highest tier of effectiveness, so that it's, as opposed to, it would be the same as getting a white drop and you're like, I actually really like this white sniper rifle, and then you turn it into an exotic over time.
The Calcutta, like Calcutta from Destiny. Yeah.
So you mean the Kvostov?
No, the Calcutta sniper.
No, he's talking about the sniper rifle.
It was like a really low zoom, high aim assist white sniper. Okay. People use it in Destiny 1.
I was gonna say though, like, I actually, because I played Valhalla for like before it came out for like a quick playthrough thing, and then I didn't like that as much as Odyssey, because I kind of felt like in Valhalla you take over a whole monastery and you like fight it, and then you get like supplies. You wouldn't even get like a weapon when you open the chest, and you're like, oh, right. I kind of wanted
the raids. Well, that's different because there's different activities for different purposes, and there's a lot of different like camps you can raid that have
guaranteed weapons.
Guaranteed weapons, and that's where they drop. That's the one place that one comes from. But there's also a lot of raids for monasteries and stuff like that you're talking about that are all about getting the supplies to upgrade your new village that you start, your new home base.
Guess, yeah.
So that's what
I kind of wish
you just have to know. And as you interact with it, it will actually have like a different emblem that means a different thing. So you know what that loot is gonna be before you go for it.
There's the thing about Odyssey as well, and what I heard about Valhalla is like, it just takes a long time. It's like you're gonna invade 40,000 monasteries and be through halfway through the game. And it's just like it's like you're looking at like a 60-hour experience. And so that was kind of I played like quite a few hours of Odyssey, like 50 plus hours of Odyssey, maybe even more. And I was like not even done the campaign. I was kind of like, okay, I've like invaded my 10th, like, or my 20th stronghold. I get how it works, and it's like I just got to keep doing more over and over and over again, and it's a slightly different layout every time. So I just kind of got a little bored with it though.
Yeah, right? But with Valhalla, one of the things they did different is that not all the combat abilities are revealed up front. Like you sort of discover them as you go. You can't actually preview all the perks in the trees until you get to them. So you have to say, okay, I'm gonna commit to this tree. I don't know what it's at the end of it. So as you're going through this game, even though you might be doing raids over and over again, you're still leveling up and getting new abilities, like new specific combos, new specific combat actions that you can do. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to do another raid, because even though it's the same thing I've been doing, I got new abilities to try out. I got this new weapon to try out. Like, your combat is always evolving. So even though you might be doing some of the same activities, you're not going about it the same way.
Yeah, because in Odyssey, I spec'd into stealth, and literally how I beat the entire game, and I was like running through the game. Like I was way ahead of where I should have been because I just like hide in the grass and someone would walk by and I'd kill them and I would just like methodically kill everyone in this thing and like liberate it.
But you literally cannot see like what you're progressing towards. It's like, ooh, what's this little ability? And it's like random.
Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll show you the one major thing in a skill tree ahead of you. Like there's like maybe 10 nodes to unlock, and it'll show you the one in the middle, which is like a big boost of some kind.
Right.
So you have some inkling of what that tree's about, but you don't know the individual nodes until you get there.
That's kind of cool.
I think I hate that. Like, I think,
but at the same
that's
time,
me.
If
like,
you hate that, skill points are immediately refundable with no penalty. So if I have 5 skill points stocked up and I'm like, I want to know what this tree over here is about, I can spec to it, be like, no, I don't like that, and then just pull them right back out and go a different direction. Oh, I don't like that one. Then you go to a different. Oh, I do like this one.
Oh, so that's good then. Yeah.
You can do that if you want to.
Cool. And then we were talking about Call of Duty. So I haven't played much of the Call of Duty. I've got a code, but I haven't jumped in. Kackis, have you been playing a bunch or a bit? Have you been dabbling? Like,
I asked for a code, but I'm not a little dweeb about it because I was like,
come on.
I know I'm not going to make content on it, so I don't want to rip Activision off. Unlike you, Tash.
Well, it was it landed in my lap. I can't stop.
No, so I just been playing Call of Duty very casually. The thing is, it's very limited, and I've been hearing a lot of complaints from the community. There's only 8 normal 6v6 maps. 8. To put that in perspective, Mono for 2 and some of the old CODs had like 16. So literally double. Now, in fairness, they have some different things. Like they have this fire team dirty bomb thing where it's 10 teams of 4, and it's kind of like a battle royale. Like you have like an armor system, very similar to battle royale, except it's one condensed map, and then you just kind of respawn on your squad right away. I actually really enjoy fire team dirty bomb. If you have a good squad and you're trying to like plant these bombs and you're just like slaying out other teams, it's a lot more like casual than Warzone, because you're not just like dead for the whole thing, you just respawn. But it still feels like a massive firefight against like all these other teams.
Right.
And but there's 2 maps there. So there's some other things you can do. They have like a big team battle, like ground war type thing, but you can't spawn off your team. So that's dumb. Like if they don't fix that, I'll never play it, because like you have this big map and you spawn, it chooses where you spawn. So you spawn at the very end of the map, and you're like, it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get up to where the fight is. If I get sniped, I have to do it again. Like it's no fun.
Yeah.
But the main thing is zombies and multiplayer, and I think possibly even campaign. I'm not sure about campaign, but for sure zombies and multiplayer are connected. So I was in zombies, just getting used to the guns, playing some zombies, having a chill time, leveling up my guns, and those attachment unlocks in the gunsmith will work in multiplayer. So I can level up guns, try them out in zombies, and then when I go into multiplayer, like the worst thing is doing a brand new gun in Call of Duty multiplayer. You got these ugly iron sights, and you're against people who are sweating. They're playing like it's a CWL League game. They're like, I'm gonna be the next, like Call of Duty champion right here. And they're like, they're peeking out the laser sight, and when you fight them, they're gonna crouch every time. It's like, and it's like, bro, this is public matches. Like you got to calm down. And then you've got your gun with the terrible iron sights. You can't even see the guy. You're like, what's going on? So being able to go and like level it up in zombies is actually so much fun. That is a great feature.
Cool. Right. So I've got one that's like it's almost like a little personal one. I saw this Kickstarter years ago at this point, and it was called Monster Sanctuary. And they're like, hey, we want to make a Pokemon type game, but we want to be like exploring kind of like Metroid. And I was like, okay, interesting. And so I've kind of followed along, and I actually just yesterday got the email saying, hey guys, the game is fully launching on the 8th. Now I've already played the game and I've tried it out, but man, what a fantastic little game. It's on Steam called Monster Sanctuary. So you can build your teams, and you've got like a team of 3, and it's turn-based. But there is so much depth in these little monsters compared to like a Pokemon game or even Temtem. It's nuts. So each monster can level up to 40, but then they have a skill tree. And so you can take one monster and you can be like, all right, I want this to be like a debuffing monster, or I want it to be a heavy hitting monster. And you can do that. And they've usually got 3 kind of direct skill trees. And holy cow, what an incredible game. even just exploring, because you'll go catch a bird Pokemon, and with the bird Pokemon, you can, hold onto its feet and cross a gap. And then, there's a new monster here, and he's got a little sword, and he can cut down vines. And it just really expands from there. And then I found, a fish monster that can swim. And it's one of these little hidden gems.
Like Pokemon to me.
No, yeah, but I don't know. There's puzzles
HMC or whatever. Teach cut to, but I cut down trees.
A little bit, but they don't have skill trees. They don't have skill trees where you can full on build them. And then I was like, okay, I'm hyped. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you can make it a light or a dark version. And then they get like another whole passive, and it's like, okay, this is getting insane. And I just really hope that it gets the hype. It's one of those games where I see the value, and it's like, I hope people try it.
Well, you've got influence.
I know. I already did. I tweeted it out when a while ago, but I'm gonna when it goes live, I think I'm gonna do like a full playthrough maybe, because it's just one of those like little, I don't know, feel good games. I really enjoyed it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now,
hopefully it's better than Godfall.
Okay. Actually, no. Do you know what? Hold on. The one we wanted to bring up was that Phoenix Immortal Rising. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I played it.
So
not recently, but I played it before it came out.
Yeah, and that one's getting some really good reviews. That one's kind of getting, I mean, caught me off guard. I didn't think it looked incredible.
Dude, I made a video talking about it. It's just like a delightful, whimsical game. Unfortunately, it wasn't a Destiny video, so no one saw it. But like, it's just like a fun little. It's like some of the elements of Assassin's Creed. It's like a hack and slash game. It's very visceral. Like you like smack every enemy. Like you do an attack that like you put spears from the ground. So like all the enemies in the radius go into the air. Then you can attack them in the air and like smash them down to the ground. Like it's very like cartoony, but it's in a fun way. The dialogue is kind of a funny game. Like in the version I played, the voiceovers were like making fun of Ubisoft and stuff.
Really?
Like it was it was very tongue in cheek. Like it was making fun of the tutorial, making fun of how long the tutorial was and stuff. Like it was kind of like it was breaking the fourth wall quite a bit in like a funny way.
Yeah, I heard.
But there's a lot of puzzle solving too, like figuring out. It's basically like a much more low key game. It doesn't take itself as seriously.
Is it the first good Ubisoft game in a while? I mean, I guess Valhalla. Yeah.
Valhalla. True Vanguard is going about how he's going to marry that game. He just said so.
No, it just sounds good. It's fun. I like it.
You said Valhalla is the best game of this generation. I heard you.
Yeah. But of any generation.
Yeah. No, Raid Shadow Legends has that title.
Oh my.
This video is fun.
Oh, actually, this video is sponsored
by who?
By Advanced GG.
Advanced GG, you say? They make an incredible energy drink. They've got two different formulas. They've got the Focus, which is a high-end, clinically proven product to help with your cognitive focus while you're doing streaming, while you're gaming, while you're studying. And they've also got an energy formula if you're looking for a quick hit of caffeine to get you through that quick little meeting at work. Check out advanced.gg and use code RGH for 10% off. Thank you so much for sponsoring our channel, because you're our only sponsor. Please sponsor us.
We're getting desperate.
We almost, I don't understand why people don't sponsor us. We basically almost forgot that sponsorship and left it to the very end of the podcast.
Yeah, but we got the most concurrent viewers right now that we had, so that's a good time, right?
That's good, you know.
We can kind of gauge it.
Yeah, you know, it's not bad. But I played Phoenix Rising. It was fun. But Ubisoft usually hits. Watch Dogs, I've heard bad things about. I've heard it's very boring.
Well, they've got like 5 of them. Like, chill out. They'll suck.
5? Okay, hold up. No. I will take at least a couple minutes on this podcast to say Watch Dogs 1 and 2 in Chicago and San Fran were good games.
Okay.
I was number 5 ranked player on PS4 globally at one point for hacks and invasions. That game was good.
Yeah, this is the guy in junior high. I'm the best Call of Duty player. I add him, and I just...
I'm the number 5th hacker in the entire world.
Yeah,
you
like...
can see how fast I hack.
Yo, congrats on hacking in Watch Dogs, bro.
Oh my gosh.
No, I've actually never played Watch Dogs. I don't know why. Just didn't.
I played. Also got to play a little bit of Watch Dogs Legion, and it was like okay. I wasn't vibing with it. It was like I couldn't like. I can't say there's anything wrong with the game. It's just like it's kind of boring.
I heard it looks
It's-
really good though. Like those games were like really.
The cool part was like you can recruit people and take them over. They have certain abilities. Then you can like go like do a mission differently where depending on who you have, you can literally recruit a grandma. Like I recruited a grandma character and you're like shuffling along and I'm just like gunning people down with my grandma. So that was cool, but like it's okay.
Is there any other games though right now that you're seeing on the horizon? I mean, obviously Cyberpunk. Like I know Cyberpunk, but
it sounds so bad. But like I'm not even hating. I'm not just bringing it up for me. I before I bought Call of Duty, I was so close to buying Godfall because I was like, oh, like I kind of want that looter. But I was like, I've heard nothing but horrible things about it, and I was like, oh. I don't know. I wanted that game to be so good. That was going to be like the perfect game to play when, you're bored of Destiny, right? You just hop on Godfall, hack a few things. It doesn't even have to be the next game. It could have been the next Anthem. I would have been fine with that. But instead, it made Anthem look like a good game, bro.
I'm looking towards Outriders.
True.
Cyberpunk, obviously, I don't think we even need to talk about Cyberpunk. But Outriders, they've started putting up some stuff actually this week. They started showing off some guns, and it's like, okay. And I guess Ryan, you haven't played it yet, but Ryan or Kackis and I have played, and starting to look through the inventories and the skill trees, and like I think there might be some potential here. And I'm telling you, the last live stream that they did when they went over the end game, have you both played Diablo 3?
Yep.
Yes.
So the Greater Rift system?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems exactly. It seems similar. And so looking at that, I'm like, okay. I'm down with that. If it's actually like that, because apparently there's new bosses in there, and they said that the end game is, and they kind of did a jab at Anthem, I think, or maybe even Destiny. They're like, our end game is not replaying the same story missions on a harder mode. They're new activities. It's new missions. It's new locations. So I hope they nail it. Please nail it. Be competition for Destiny.
If they basically put out what we played, it will be a playable, decent game. Like, will it be better than Destiny? I don't know. I think it'll certainly be better than Anthem because it ran just smoother and you won't have the technical issues, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, from just what I've seen, there's no way it can be as bad as Godfall, where like you can't even like attack people because like the input system is so bad and there's no like delay, like canceling attacks and stuff.
I have a quick question though. And now, unfortunately, because Ryan hasn't played it, I'm sorry to single you out here and not have you in this. But if you then compare it to Division, though, Kackis, what are your thoughts? Because I feel like, honestly, the more I look at Division, like there were some problems here and there. I feel like Division was a good looter shooter. They've made some mistakes.
I got back into it before Beyond Light came out and put like hundreds of hours in and did some raids and stuff. Like finally got leveled up. So I have a new appreciation for Division. I think though. Division's too boring.
Really?
It's I think that's the thing. It's very slow. The enemies are so bullet spongy. Enemies are pretty bullet spongy in Outriders, but you've got those like kind of visceral abilities and things are blowing up more often and stuff like that.
True.
So it's a little bit more like just entertaining for the quick fix. I think Division has a lot more depth to it though, which will help. Like Division, I think has a pretty decent end game right now. Like especially gearing up for the raids. The raids are pretty intense. They are like an actual quality piece of endgame content.
Right.
So will it be better than Division? I don't know, but Division already has a relatively decent fan base. It's a very old game. It takes a lot to get into. Like it's a lot of grinding to get your character up to the point where you can actually do stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see. The thing is though, again, like there's no way it can be as bad as Godfall and flop as bad as Godfall, just because from what we've played, it's a competent game.
Yes. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. And, I'm hoping they surprise us. I want more competition in the looter shooter genre, right?
Absolutely.
That Marvel game came out. That was pretty much a bomb and didn't really do it. We're hoping Anthem, down the road, they do the remake and that kicks butt because it just puts pressure on Bungie to really excel. I don't want them to cash cow. I don't want them to get complacent. And the only tough thing is making a good looter shooter is prohibitively expensive and extremely difficult. There's so many systems. You got a matchmaking system, and you got to make the missions, and you got to make the end game and the gear, and like it's crazy. But you know, Outriders Square Enix, right?
Why don't we just make a BR? It's just so much easier.
Yeah, honestly,
that's true.
But if Outriders doesn't work out, the next looter shooter on the horizon that will pack a punch is Diablo 4. Diablo 4, man, they've got the resources to act and the know-how.
But like when?
Make it good.
When?
2025, probably.
2 more years? Another year? Like I don't.
It's true.
The thing is from the footage that has been released, visually gorgeous. But like if they already have the animations that I saw completed and some of those maps, they're you know, they're not like still like UI-less, like non-built game. Like they've got a lot ready there. They've got years of development on this thing already, but I mean there's a lot that goes into a game like that, so who knows? And I mean I think they learned some amazing things from the Diablo 2. I think they learned some really good things from Diablo 3, and so hopefully they can kind of put those together. But also,
they learned what not to do at Diablo 3.
Yeah, but also like the Greater Rift system, I would say is pretty good. Like some of the end game loops are solid there, just for like kind of long-term grinding. And like the seasons system is a really cool thing. I think people love seasons, especially if you look at Path of Exile. They've also got all of Path of Exile to look and watch and see what succeeded.
Path of Exile 2 though.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge competitor, honestly. Even just base Path of Exile competes with Diablo 4. They've improved the game, and they always have new seasons, and that player base is growing. It's continuing to grow. Each season, it has more and more players, because there's more people like me that have played it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this game is good. And it just keeps getting better, and they've made so many improvements. And it's free. So, you know, Diablo coming out, if Path of Exile stays free, which I'm thinking it will, and they release Path of Exile 2, brother, it's going to be real hard to compete against, or for Diablo to compete.
Very true, very true.
So, is that pretty much it for the games? I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's it. I think it's time to switch into members only chat, gamer. Because what we do here at the end, we're going to change it to members only chat. To first of all say thank you to all the people who do support us, let us fund all the graphics and stuff. We're actually going to get some new emotes pretty soon as well, so you're going to be funding that. And then we're going to give you guys a chance to ask questions, and we're going to answer those questions. Now, if you're not a member, don't go anywhere, because you can still stick around and be part of the conversation. Just we won't be able to actually physically type in. And then Tash is going to put the link to be a channel member in the chat.
The link is there. And remember, like, you watching, you following, you liking, that is incredible support, and we appreciate you chatting and keeping that conversation flowing. We just want to make sure we give back to the people that are giving, directly to us and paying for the editor and all that stuff, because we do have an editor that puts the audio together, edits highlights and things like that, people for the emotes and all that. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. We don't hate you. Click the link in the comments there if you're trying to become a member, or click the join button. Okay.
All right. So members, now this is your time. Ask away. And if you can, we're not saying that if you're a non-member, you can't bribe one of the members to ask your question. that's possible too, I guess. But go ask away. There's the huge topic. I mean, I think that the stasis topic is going to be a never-ending debate. It's going to be a debate between people who just are like, it's cool, it's fun, and then other people who are more of the mind of like actual balance and variety, and they don't like it. It's such a simple feedback. It is very satisfying to freeze someone, but is it balanced? That's the question.
Thoughts on the new Monster Hunter movie?
First time I'm hearing about it.
I actually had such. Here's what I'll say on that. They did a terrible job on their initial tease of that movie, because Monster Hunter fans were like, what do you think of Monster Hunter? Do you think like this? It's really almost like a very primal aesthetic. The way that the world is structured, the way that the people live. It's not future. So the very first teaser they ever released was like Marines in the desert with like with assault rifles and a Humvee. And everyone's like, that is not Monster Hunter. That's Marines in a
What?
desert with a
Oh, yeah, I'm trying
Humvee
to
and
look this
assault
up here.
The
right?
girl
And so,
from Resident Evil is in it.
so
What?
here we are, here we are. That was their first tease. That's all they showed, and people were like, "That's bullcrap. That's not Monster Hunter. That's like some freaking futurist, like modern day crap. Get this out of here."
Right.
But then they finally, like, over a year after that, they finally released another trailer where they actually show that these people were. I forget how it happened, but somehow they're sucked into like an interdimensional wormhole from our time into that time. So what they showed was Marines in a Humvee, but what actually happens is that they're in their Humvee and they get sucked into the Monster Hunter world where it is very tribalistic and primal
It,
and so I still don't know how I feel about it, but they did a terrible job initially generating hype because they just looked like they took the Monster Hunter name
tacked it
and made a
on.
Dude,
just tacked
imagine
it.
how OP you'd be if you were like everyone else has like these big swords in Monster Hunter, and you have like just a AK-47. And you're just
Well,
like, all right,
well,
bro, like,
in the movie, like, or in the new trailer, it's like the guns don't work against the armor, but
oh,
then they
the
actually
sword
show
does.
clips of them. They actually show clips of them with the monster gear,
Okay.
jumping at them, doing the things that you do in the game. So
But it's
they
like,
at least started to bring it back.
and it's like, okay, like, so if you're like a trained Marine, like, I'm sure you could pick up how to use a great sword maybe quicker than the average civilian. But it's like, if you're
Right.
going to make a Monster Hunter universe, like, why isn't it the story of the guy that's been training to be a monster hunter since he was a wee boy in the village? Like, why would you
Tell
not
right
just.
now, all those Marines, other than the actual like girl from Resident Evil, I forget her name. Other than her, will die. I guarantee maybe one will survive. The rest are cannon fodder to die to the monsters to show how serious they are. I could basically recite what is going to happen in this movie, like word for word. It's like I'm just like Hollywood these days. It's just the same. It always annoyed me in like every like they go to Jurassic Park and it's like, oh my god, it's a dude. And they would even in the Jurassic Park 3, the guy had a 50 cal. A 50 cal can go through a foot of cement, but it can't kill a dinosaur skull. Is not as thick as a foot of cement. Like stop, like to say like we can't kill it. It's like, whoa, what?
You
It's
can
like,
kill it.
yeah, you could kill it, dude. Like an AK-47 is gonna kill any sort of raptors chasing you, and it's just always so they gotta like find. I mean, you gotta obviously find a way, I guess, to make them threats, but it was always like so ridiculous.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Because
Yeah,
it's like you said, if they just didn't do the Marines thing, why not just have it actually take place in the Monster Hunter world and just have its own independent story?
right.
I
And
think
like,
they did reviews that way.
I feel like they just tack on the name to make like a video game movie. Like, at least like with Sonic, like they did okay. And like they did
Yeah,
it with
true.
Final Fantasy a long time ago. It was called like Final Fantasy Spirit Within. It had like nothing to do with Final Fantasy. There was like no feeling of Final Fantasy. But then there was
Street Fighter movies,
right, the Street Fighter movies. There's the Dragon Ball Z. I know that's more like an anime, but like they try to like tack on and like make these Hollywood movies, and they're all just garbage because they don't even watch the stuff. They don't even care about the stuff.
Yeah.
And then like,
You know what actually
well,
is a good example of what did it right? Mandalorian. Now hear me out. Mandalorian apparently is taking a lot of cues from like the apparently the episode where you go and they killed the giant worm. That's just a quest from Knights of the Old Republic. That they took that quest and that storyline from a literal quest in that video game and turned it into an episode.
really,
The thing that they have going for them is that the guy that's in charge, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Dave Filoni is like the biggest Star Wars nerd. So
Yeah.
they literally have a nerd who loves all of that stuff, who was the creator of the whole Clone Wars series. He's in charge of Clone Wars series. So
right.
you're gonna get the real authentic stuff, and it's a banger. And look how huge it is. Everyone's obsessed with it.
Did it?
Yes.
Did it
That's gotta
save
be the
Star Wars?
standard. Make
Someone
that
in
the
the chat
standard.
mentioned the Assassin's Creed movie. Yeah, dude, as soon as I saw the Assassin's Creed movie trailer and there was a big explosion for some reason, it's like you're in medieval Europe and their cart like exploded. And I was like, this is BS, dude. I want some like shadow assassins. I want to see some parkour. I want parkour and I want some good assassinations. And that movie basically it has some okay parkour, and that was about it.
Right. and it's okay parkour. Like I've seen better parkour.
I know. James Bond had the best parkour. The opening scene of Casino Royale.
Yeah.
That was like the best parkour. Right. Yeah, like I don't know. So, what do you guys think? Do you think there'll ever be a Destiny movie? I feel like that would be a good movie. There's so many cool Destiny things.
I am personally done with movies. I think that Hollywood big screen productions are not the best way of conveying good stories anymore.
True. So you're saying TV series are better,
whether they're animated series or live action series. I think TV series are the way to go. You get better character building, better world building, better exposition. I think all of it. Better character arcs.
Here's a problem with that. Let's say hypothetically you create a TV series. It's so excellent and so exceptional that it becomes the biggest TV series in the world. And then for some reason, your writers are so brain dead that at season 7 and especially in season 8, they just throw everything out the window. They say, hey, season 8, every single plot thread doesn't matter. We're going to make it up as we go. And we're just going to end in huge disappointment and ruin everything. Now, what if that happens? Do you think that's possible? Imagine if that happened, dude. Imagine.
But people are still talking about it. Your point in case right there.
Dude, I bought TV. I bought on Blu-ray all the seasons of Game of Thrones. And I have not rewatched them since season 8. I rewatched them before.
They got your money. But you bought them.
But I'm never going to buy season 8 ever. And then like I just have no desire because I know it goes nowhere. I would rewatch it because I was always excited about what could happen, but it's like that is the potential downside. As a movie is kind of contained.
Well, yeah, but TV series. I mean, for example, some of my favorite TV series. I've gone back and rewatched. How many times have I rewatched The Office alone? How many times have I rewatched? How many times have I gone back and watched? Me and my wife love the TV show Psych. We've rewatched that whole series multiple times now, and on top of that, those productions often pay for themselves. Before the end of the season.
True.
And so anything that you make beyond that is you're still in the green. You know what I'm saying?
Especially since like movie theaters are like gone now.
Shut down, yeah.
So TV series are one of the only ways to consume content like that.
Did you guys watch?
Go ahead.
Did you watch Queen's Gambit?
No.
You haven't watched Queen's Gambit?
I'm watching The Crown, but I haven't watched Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit is with is the girl who learns how to play chess, becomes a world champion. What a great show. I really enjoyed that one. If you haven't seen it, I really would recommend it because it's not just about chess. Like there's a lot of other stuff there, but that one caught me by surprise. Everyone was saying it was pretty good, and then I tried it, and I really enjoyed it. And I almost like, I feel like when a movie, they got to jump around so much, right? Yeah. And you don't get to know the characters that much. And it's like, well, I don't care if this guy dies or succeeds, really. Like I don't care that much, but with the show, I really was like, well, I want her to win. And like, I really was invested in the characters. So, I do kind of like the series more than the movies lately. I can't just sit down and watch a movie unless it's like a top tier movie.
Yeah. I will say funny moment. Kind of funny moment this past week. We've been watching so much Mandalorian. My kids are obsessed with it. They love the Mandalorian. And, my wife and I have been trying to expose them to other Star Wars shows. So we watched the Rebels.
The prequels?
Watching not the prequels. They've seen almost all of Rebels, almost all of the Clone Wars. But we watched Rogue One with them this past week. And when K2, the robot, the robot played by Pirate Steve, right? Mm-hmm. When he dies in the very end, just out of nowhere, my daughter, she's just stone cold the whole movie, just watching. And as soon as he dies, she just goes, this is completely, because she's just wailing in tears. We're like, honey, it's okay, it's just a droid. But she was so really upset with it.
Wait till you see the third one.
But then the thing is that with that movie, like everybody dies. So, I know. Well, she never got to come down off of that. She's like, then the next person dies, then the next person.
You're gonna obviously skip Solo. That didn't happen. And then when are you going to introduce them to Jar Jar Binks and the prequels? Because
I don't know.
Quality-wise, there's no argument. Terrible. Like, just horribly put together movies. They basically make no sense. Meme-wise, just for the memes.
They're gold.
I watch it with friends, and we were like, this before COVID, we were like dying laughing. Just because, dude, you forget Anakin's mom's name is Shmi. Shme. E or something.
Shmee.
Shmee Skywalker, and you're just like, hi Shmee, and we're like, bro, we're just like making fun of it. Like Anakin's like, Mom, don't boss Shmee around, like leave Shmee alone, and all this stuff. It's like, bro, you can't name a character Shmee. Like that's just you can't, dude. And George Lucas did. He can't be stopped. That's for sure.
One of the things that just makes me so mad is we watched A New Hope with the kids last week, and here's Obi-Wan is like, I can't seem to remember ever owning a droid. It's like you literally were. What?
Oh man,
You're doing all this stuff with R2 and
I know.
Right.
I know.
I hate it. I hate the inconsistencies.
Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. I've heard the conspiracy theories.
Is actually
not bad.
It's not bad. Honestly, though, like the prequels, I'm gonna say the prequels are better than the sequels. Like the sequels, no, that's not true. Force Awakens is actually pretty entertaining and not much wrong with it, and the other two just don't make any sense. They're just too just everyone's just trying to do their own thing, and it's just like too much going on. And it's just very hard to follow. And you're like, why are they here? Why do they need to go to this planet to like get a code? Like, can you not just send the code to us?
Right.
It's just the whole thing was like a lot of unnecessary side missions. Almost felt like it feels like freaking power leveling in Destiny. Just I want to get to the meat. Get this other stuff out of here.
Right.
All right, we're getting. This is very off topic.
It's really off topic.
Anyone have
it's off topic Tuesday.
Non-Star Wars.
Except it's Wednesdays. My bad.
And a Diablo movie series, that would be not bad. That would make a really good movie series. Diablo, I think Destiny would make. You got to wonder about like the spectacle. Like the reason they made Mandalorian work is because it's like not that crazy of stuff happens. Now that their budget is a bit bigger, but like you're just in a town, you're in a desert, interacting with people. There's like one CGI worm, that's about it. Right? Whereas like the movie, there's like 40 million starships fighting each other all the time. So the budget is a lot more contained in a smaller story.
Yeah.
Their budget's actually astronomical. I don't know.
Now it is. Now it is.
But part of what makes that show so good is the influences. They stay true to what made the original Star Wars movies so good, because the sequels, well, I suppose the prequels, they went with this like mega futuristic vibe, right? And one of the things Filoni talks about is listen, the original Star Wars and what we envisioned for the Mandalorian was that the idea was that it's in a long ago, right? In a galaxy far away. It's way back in the past, but with some futuristic tech. So there was no like major futuristic cities in the original 3. There's that ridiculous scene where Obi-Wan sits down with I forget the guy's name, but the guy in the diner, and it just looks like some 50s diner. Wow, what do you know? And it's like that's not the Star Wars environment.
It's
and it's like that environment just doesn't fit with the original aesthetic of the show of the movies. And so
it's like almost like an old Western, but with like
and that's the thing. So the Mandalorian is really at its heart, it's a Star Wars show, but it's genre-wise a mashup between samurai and westerns. It's samurai influences and western influences, and they nail it. It's great. Like, for example, this latest episode that everyone's memeing on because the name, which I think we're okay with spoiler free at this point. But the whole idea is that it's this mashup between samurai and western. It's samurai inside the gate with the duel between the Jedi and the cons, right? And then outside it's the High West showdown in the street. And so the whole episode was just a mashup between two genres. It was great.
The interesting thing about Mandalorian is how big Baby Yoda has become. I'm noticing more and more is they give you a little 3 to 5 minutes of the episode where they just, here you go. Like almost like fan service. Maybe not 3 minutes. Let's say a minute and a half to 2 minutes where it's like, what's the thing he's getting into? Oh, he wants that little toy today. Oh, what's this? He's got some, like I don't want to break anything, right? I don't want to ruin the whole story.
Just enough for people to take screenshots and blow Twitter up with it, right?
Yeah, every time.
They know what they're doing, certainly from that regard.
I wonder if Mandalorian has kind of saved the franchise, because
100%.
I lost faith in it. Like
there's not a lot of some people enjoyed it, but I feel like I don't know, people who enjoyed it are not we're not the hardcores, and that matters because the hardcores are the ones who are going to go and buy the toys and are going to buy the movie again on Blu-ray and stuff. So the casual audience seem to enjoy the Star Wars from what I saw. And again, like that's fine, but you're not driving purchases to all of the licensing and all this other stuff. And so the hardcore is, well, everyone. That's the thing. There was all this division, and the fact that there is a division proves that the movie could have done better. Even if you enjoyed it, it's like, well, I enjoyed it, but it pissed off half the Star Wars universe. Probably could have done some things better, right? So Mandalorian is pissing off nobody. Nobody does. Everyone likes Mandalorian. So the whole argument, like you can't possibly intelligently argue that the prequels and the sequels were like just good movies in a sense of they pissed off such a huge portion of the community. Whereas like you have something like Mandalorian that everyone likes. Like this is a grand slam. This is like a quality piece of content. Almost no one doesn't like this. Right. And that's what Star Wars needed. They needed something not divisive, just good.
It's like Game of Thronesy almost. It's like good, and now it's like, all right. It seems like you've kind of tarnished
literally a crime against humanity. Shockingly bad, dude. I think so. Ollie, remember Ollie, the little guy who got Jon Snow killed?
Yeah.
Ollie killed more main characters than the Night King.
Right.
Think about that for a sec. Think about that for 1 second.
Fair? Fair?
Come on, dude. I'm so salty about that, dude. I'm still so salty about that.
I could tell. Tell.
All right, boys. I think that's pretty much it for the episode. I think that's
movie talk.
Movie talk. Hey, it was kind of fun. Change up.
Hey, it was a little different after show this time. It's good.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We are the RGH Real Gamer Hour podcast. Can't even say that word. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
I'm True Vanguard.
And we are here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys want to talk about gaming and apparently The Mandalorian for 45 minutes, check us out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you guys aren't a member, make sure to become a member. And we will see you next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern.